majority of Austin voters decided to reinstate the public camping ban, a major shift in the city's response to its homeless crisis. Proposition B was one of the most divisive elections in Austin's history, with nearly 58% of votes in favor of the ban and about 42% against. While most Austinites may have already made up their minds before the election, Save Austin Now, the PAC supporting the ban, says it was working to make sure those strong feelings translated to actual votes. And political experts say it shows how groups are mobilizing in ways never before seen in local elections. KXAN investigator Kevin Clark got an inside look at how it all came together and what it could mean for future elections.
This is a bipartisan effort.
Otto Swingler lives and works downtown. It was less than 3 weeks before the election when we walked by the homeless encampments that motivated him to become politically involved for the first time in his life.
I don't consider myself a strongly leaning Democrat or Republican either way. I don't think this is a political issue, quite frankly.
Swingler voted for Prop B. The ballot measure passed by voters means the return of the city's ban on public camping. Violating the ban is a misdemeanor, punishable by a fine. Swingler says he's not anti-homeless, but considers the tent cities in Austin a public health and safety issue. He says his girlfriend won't run the hike and bike trail alone.
You pay to build these sidewalks, these running trails. You know, you've got all this public infrastructure that has been completely taken over. There's a lot of people that might look at this and say, man, I wish the street was clean, or I wish there wasn't tents on there.
Selfish, because I wish I didn't have to live in a tent.
During our interview, a man experiencing homelessness approached us. He said he didn't know where he would go if public camping wasn't allowed.
I don't know. They're the ones telling us we can't live anywhere, and there's nowhere else for us to live. Everybody that's out here has had a home before, but has all y'all with homes ever been homeless?
The passionate exchange is a microcosm of the public camping ban debate. City Council lifted the ban in June of 2019, largely decriminalizing the act of sitting, lying, or camping in public places. But the city has faced backlash for the vote, including from Texas Governor Greg Abbott, for the growing number of visible tents downtown, under overpasses, and along popular trails.
Almost any strategy is superior to allowing people to camp out on places like Congress Avenue.
And Austin's fire department says it has been responding to several calls a day for either potential or actual homeless encampment fires.
We're actually staying really busy, probably at least 5-6 calls a shift, where we're either going by to check on them or actually having an incident.
Hi there. Yes, sir. I'm Brooke, and I'm a volunteer with Save Austin Now.
Enter Save Austin Now, which pushed for the return of the camping ban and got it on the May ballot in the first place.
Stop the environmental hazards and slow the growth of unhoused population.
To understand what went into the group's efforts, we went behind the scenes for weeks prior to the election.
If this all gets cleaned up, where do these guys go?
To the shelters. We're trying to get them back to the services that they need.
As volunteers knocked on doors,
these guys want their park saved,
greeted at polls, and spoke with residents. Even with days left until the election, the group's co-founder was recruiting volunteers on social media.
Do you think we could count on your support to vote?
Thank you very much. Absolutely. Appreciate
Awesome.
it. So basically what this app does,
volunteers also targeted likely voters using paid apps.
We know we need to reach out to, maybe to provide that extra push to the polls, or just make sure that they have awareness of the issue.
The effort is comprehensive and expensive. Save Austin Now founders say it had 2,700 donors and raised more than $1.7 million. For perspective, campaign filings show the Mobility for All PAC, which supported Austin's multi-billion-dollar transit initiative known as Project Connect, raised $1.3 million ahead of last November's election, one of the largest campaign efforts in Austin history. But how was Save Austin Now able to surpass that fundraising? Organizers say, including the signature collecting process to get Prop B on the ballot, it had help from more than 1,000 volunteers.
They said they're definitely voting. They got a lot of signatures.
Those we spoke with say Prop B's support comes from a broad swath of voters, including some Democrats.
It's amazing the diversity of the people that are very nervous about this.
I care about the homeless, and I think Prop B going through will force the city to help the homeless more than have them camped under a bridge somewhere.
Don Kettle is a professor at UT's LBJ School of Public Affairs. He says he's spoken with many people about the Prop B race, from Austin's mayor to the average downtown resident.
It's been hard to remember anything in recent Austin memory that has really generated so much interest, so much support, so much debate.
Thanks for your consideration.
We asked Kettle what he makes of Save Austin Now's effort, whether it hints at the future of grassroots campaigning in Austin. He believes the Prop B campaign is more than just an indictment on council's move to lift the camping ban, and says these kinds of movements, once ignited, rarely go away completely.
The concerns that brought people together are likely to be flashpoints or gathering points for further debate on other issues as they come up. What are we going to do about the convention center? What are we going to do about the issues of affordable housing?
What we're doing today is what we call a contactless canvas.
By comparison, there was not a lot of money on the other side of the Prop B debate. According to financial disclosures, the Homes Not Handcuffs PAC raised just shy of $200,000.
So we need you to be the organizer.
But there was a similar urgency. Opponents of Prop B said, funding aside, the camping ban issue is a moral one.
This one really affects each of our neighborhoods and our vision for the city.
Heidi Sloan of Homes Not Handcuffs and others say passing Prop B hurts the homeless, saddling them with citations they can't afford to pay.
Do you feel like you have to work harder than the other side, given that this is a low turnout election and there are a lot of motivated people on that side?
You know,
money as well.
I think that we have to really center the values of the vast majority of Austinites and bring a sense of urgency to this issue. I think that for some of us, it's almost unbelievable that we are in the circumstance that we are.
Speaking to Don Kettle's point, the work of Save Austin Now is expected in other city initiatives outside of reinstating the camping ban. Its co-founder, Matt Makowiak, tells me he believes Save Austin Now is building a silent majority and that it will be involved in issues related to affordability and public safety. He declined to give specifics, but did tell me before the election the broader movement is all for nothing if Prop B didn't pass. Back to you.
Kevin, thanks so much. Before the election, we asked the city of Austin where unhoused individuals would go if the camping ban were to be reinstated. A spokesperson told us the city would be working on the practical applications of Proposition B after the election if it were to pass. Meanwhile, council members have asked the city manager to find city-owned property that could be used for temporary designated campsites. Those sites would have security, lighting, restrooms, and storage. A reminder, the camping ban goes into effect on Tuesday. We take a closer look at the donors behind the $1.7 million campaign that helped reinstate the ban. It's online now in this story in the investigative section of KXAN.com.